So it doesn't mean that just because it got installed yesterday, we're all good. And this is mind blowing for me. And like now, every time I walk in my shower, I'm on freaking high alert. All right, Todd, what's the situation today?
Types of projects. Types of projects. What do we like? What do we not
Projects.
like? What's your favorite type of projects? What projects you flat out say no to? Indoors versus outdoors? Is there a minimum cost to a
Okay.
project you look at? So much to discuss.
Okay, so where do we start? Let's just start with what's your favorite project?
Kitchens.
Kitchens.
It's
That's
always
your favorite.
kitchens. It's always kitchens. And
Okay.
bread and butter is the kitchens. It's a lot of carpentry work. It's a little demo. It's a little electric, a little plumbing. Maybe you're doing floors, but I always like the kitchens. Part of the home, I guess.
All right. So what I heard was you like kitchens because it has a little bit of everything.
Well, it has a little bit of everything, and I think that's kind of in my wheelhouse. So if I'm doing
You're just
an addition is too much. Typically, it's just too many variables, too many moving parts. It gets too stressful sometimes. So if I'm staying inside the existing walls, give me a kitchen. I got room to work. Bathrooms are too cramped, and I don't mind basements. I kind of like basements sometimes because people aren't as concerned when they don't have a basement for an extended period of time. They tend to be a little more lax when they don't have their kitchen. Come week 3 or 4, they typically start to get a little antsy, to put it lightly. So I got to go kitchens as a favorite. Basement's a close one.
okay. That's fair.
How about you?
Mine would be bathrooms.
Really?
I think that's my favorite. Yeah, bathrooms.
Bathrooms. Why?
hmm I like to do a bathroom, like not just a powder room, but a master bathroom. That's probably me. I like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
There's just why to answer your question. Well, it's got everything in it: plumbing, electric, HVAC, everything's in there, right? But I just feel like there's just so much design that you can do in a bathroom. Yeah, I just feel like there's a lot that you can do. And people tend not to be afraid to go a little bit further in a bathroom than as opposed to like in a kitchen where it's like out in the open and everyone has to see it like all the time. So you might not be aggressive on the design as much as like in a bathroom
That's
because it's
interesting.
hidden behind closed doors and you're not running into it all the time. So, or other people aren't going to see it, as all of your
Right.
guests may or may not see it. So you really can add some personal touches to, um,
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know,
I can see that. That's a good point.
yeah.
It's a good point. You're right. It is the kitchens. You always get the question of what's trendy. I get that question all the time. Well,
Yeah.
what are other people doing?
Yeah.
Are other people going to live in your kitchen? Who the hell cares what other people are doing? Make it it's your kitchen.
Right.
I always tell people if you're
Yeah.
planning on staying here for more than at least 5 years, make it the way you want it because whatever is trending is going to be done within 5 years anyways.
Yeah. I think that's a great point. Yep. You're going to be there for that long. You know, build it the way you want it because you're the one that's living.
Right. And no one ever does, of course. Or I should say very few do. I mean, right now it's.
Yeah. And back when I was doing all the work myself, like I enjoyed bathrooms because I got to do everything. Okay, so today's plumbing, tomorrow's electric, right? Yesterday was framing. I get to do some drywall. We're doing some HVAC work, we're running some duct work. I got to get up on the roof and, you know, do penetration, and I get to learn about all of those things and how they all work together. I don't know. And it's a small footprint too. So you're not like a basement. I don't like because yes, it's another part of the house that generally they can live without for a long period of time. So I understand you on that point, but basements are a hard sell generally just because nobody thinks that a basement should cost as much as they do but they don't understand that it's the entire like footprint of your house usually. That's a big square foot number. So that means everything is going to be big. So like flooring specifically. Well, it's just basement and the floor. Yes, it's just the basement and the floor. That happens to come with a big square foot number, which means exponentially, do the math.
Right.
Basements are expensive.
Yeah.
Why is my basement so expensive? Because it's like a house remodel.
And like
It's a whole floor.
right. And if you're going to finish an unfinished basement, do you have a sump pump in there already? Do you have a backup for your sump pit? Or do you have any seepage? Do you have any issues with the foundation? You get properly sealing and insulating everything? I mean, it's a lot. It is. It's a lot to take into consideration.
All the things. Yeah.
And how many times you see builder grade homes where you just have conduit running underneath the joists all over the place and HVAC running underneath the joists and sections. And it's just like, all right, how aggressive do we want to get here? Do we want to start rerouting some conduit and some HVAC, or do we want to be building soffits all over the place, or doing drop ceilings, or do you want to hear footsteps from the first floor when you're down here in your theater room watching a movie? Like, it's a lot of things to take into consideration in a basement, but they can be fun.
Yeah,
they can be fun. People get
don't get me wrong. Basements could be fun. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. People get a little creative.
But I'm sticking with bathrooms, and I don't know. I also like tile work. I always did like tile work. It's getting a little difficult for me now, but as I get older, but it's fun. It's cool. I just enjoy it. I enjoy the skill of it. So, you got that and water. I just love water. I'll sit in a shower for half an hour, 45 minutes. I just
while you're
done doing
someone's bathroom, you sit in the shower for half an hour.
Yeah. Excuse me, I gotta test out your shower.
It's all part of the job.
Yeah. Excuse me, I gotta test out your shower right at the moment.
Right.
Yeah, I just finished my own shower, so you probably can't see because I don't know. Can you see? It gets blurry. Yeah.
Yeah, it gets a little blurry. It's kind of a little tough.
Yeah. Can't tell. Anyway, I just finished it finally. And it's just big enough to where you can do all your yoga sessions in the shower, which is what I'm keen on.
Really?
Getting my stretches in the shower. Yeah.
Okay. I
like stretching.
Having a hot steam to help or what?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, having the hot water, it's the ambiance, the water is hitting you and stretching. It just, I don't know. I always liked stretching in the shower.
Plus, it's a time saver. You get to do
doing two things at once. Sure. Mm-hmm.
Time saver.
Sure, let's go with that. Multitasking.
Yeah. There
you go. Well, I'm going to go off on a little tangent because we're talking about bathrooms right at the moment, and I had a little bit of a scare that kind of happened, and something that I learned about in this industry, and I told you about it already, so you might already know where I'm going with this, that I didn't have any clue that this even existed in this industry, and as long as I've been doing it in here, I've never experienced this, but now it's happened on my own home. Tempered glass, your shower door glass can explode spontaneously.
Yeah.
Scary freaking thing. Just happened to me. I had it installed. A lot of glass going on at my bathroom. It's a lot of panels and a lot of going on. It's a shower on one side, sauna on the other, and doors and panels. And the shower door just spontaneously exploded. Now it already was installed. We were using the shower for like 4 or 5 days. I had gotten out of the shower, squeegeed and wiped everything down, and that was that. Left the door alone after that part. It was probably a good 20 minutes after that. I, brushed my teeth, got dressed, went downstairs, talked. My mom was visiting at the time, so me and my mom were sitting at the kitchen counter talking, and then all of a sudden this big giant explosion noise happened. And then you hear all the glass crashing onto the floor. It was really scary. So I
So what did
ran
you think it was
upstairs, and
when you first heard it? What did you think it was? Or did you have an idea?
when I first when I first heard it, I thought something really, really, really big fell, because it was the explosion first. It wasn't the glass raining down that I heard. It was the poof, the big bang that happened. So once I heard that, I immediately was like, okay, I'm going through the inventory of my head, like what's upstairs and what could have fallen. And of those items, what it was big enough to make that noise. Like this is going on in a split second in your head. And then you hear all the glass coming down, right? And so you go, okay, out of all those things, what's big enough to fall, and what was near the glass that could have fell onto the glass and made the glass break? Then I realized, okay, the answer to that is nothing. So then I went to, that's glass breaking. Oh my God, is all of that glass broken? Like, please,
Yeah.
which panel of the glass just broke? So I run up there and I see that it was a door. So then I go through, okay, where was the animals? Right? Did the cat or the dog like push the door open somehow and bang it against something? But it doesn't, like, it swings and it doesn't hit anything. So I don't know what could have. So I called my glass guy, and he said that he gets about 5 calls a year on glass that he installs that this kind of happens. Now, granted, he's a big outfit, so they install a lot of glass. So it's not that common, but it does happen. And if
And they don't
there
know why.
is the slightest, well, yeah. So if there's the slightest, smallest little imperfection in the glass, that the way they temper it through high temperature. And when they do that, tempering the glass, he was explaining that it's as if the glass is kind of has this tension built up into it. It's kind of like a tightly wound spring.
Mm-hmm.
So the slightest little imperfection in the glass, it'll find it and then it'll explode. And this is any glass, all glass,
Wow.
over the course of its lifetime. So it doesn't mean that just because it got installed yesterday, we're all good. This is mind blowing for me. And like now, every time I walk in my shower, I'm on freaking high alert.
Yeah. Right.
So yeah,
So
weird.
that could potentially even happen 3 years down the road.
Yes.
Wow. So
Yes.
that's interesting.
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Essentially, I think the risk is very minimal further
Yeah.
down the lifeline of the glass you get, but it's just mind blowing that I didn't know this, you didn't know this, no one that I know that I talked to at work, nobody knew that this happens. It's never happened to them. But if you Google it and you start seeing some forums of people this all happened to, this one picture was pretty gruesome. He was in the shower when it happened. And so, I mean, it was still tempered glass, so it's all very shallow
Yeah.
cuts that he got, but
Yeah.
because tempered glass is pretty safe, but it's still scary. Anyways, so they came and replaced it. No big deal.
Okay.
Just had to clean it all up. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not
That's a lot of
fun.
glass. That's a lot of glass to clean up too. I mean, I tried breaking one. I did
I had to
break one of
clean up.
those a few years back because it was just a huge glass panel, and we didn't have a dumpster, so we were just getting rid of the glass panel. And my shower door guy said you can break it up, but he said you have to hit that really hard to break that. And he said wrap it up in moving blankets and like tape the moving blankets together because it's gonna bust into a billion tiny pieces. So I said, okay. So I did. I wrapped them all in moving blankets, kind of duct taped the seams together, and I hit it with a hammer a couple of times. Nothing. Hit it, nothing. And finally, I just really hit it to smash it. And you get that explosion sound, and then it's just someone you can almost feel that pressure release, just because it goes
Yeah.
into a billion tiny little bits. So that's
Yeah.
why, yeah. So I couldn't imagine that just
Scary.
spontaneously happening.
Yeah. It's scary.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I don't know. All right. So what about, so you like kitchens, I like bathrooms, and we went over
You want to open a
exploding
kitchen?
glass in your shower.
Want to open a kitchen and bath
Yeah.
company? I do the kitchens, you do the bathrooms.
What a concept.
No one's done that before.
Yeah. I don't know.
What
all right.
projects will you not take? What project would you absolutely just no?
All right. So we went over what we liked, what we don't like, what we won't take.
Yeah.
Well, this is interesting for me.
Yeah.
I would not take additions.
Okay.
I would not do additions. I would stay within the four walls. I know additions are big out here. It's mind-boggling to me that, yes, additions has a place, but everyone just immediately thinks that more space is the answer. And I just don't feel that way. Yes, it can be,
Mm-hmm.
but let's go through and establish every other possibility first. Because most often I feel like I can give you everything you want and check all your boxes by redesigning the space that you have and making it more functional.
Okay. Yeah.
Not only that, I mean, the red tape of doing additions is just ridiculous.
I agree.
What project will you not take?
Well, at this point, I agree with you on additions. I guess, and not even from a design sense, like what you had mentioned, where you're just kind of redesigning, existing space and making it more efficient, more functional, whatever. More so just the type of projects, the amount of just the stress and the variables that can bring on. I mean, you know me, I'm just set up small. So it's me kind of running the show and I have help, but I don't really have anyone that's in a position where I can be like, okay, you're managing this addition while I'm doing some other stuff, So if I was doing an addition, that's literally the only projects I could take on at a time. It would be just that because there's just too many things to take into consideration and too many on-site meetings, too much stuff. And the last edition I did was about 3 years ago now, almost 3 years ago now. And after that, I was just like, I think that's good for me. At least for now, that might change. But other than that, I won't do decks. I will not build a deck ever again.
No?
No.
Come on, we had so much fun doing decks back in the day.
Yeah. That's the problem. You always
we
think
really,
it's
though?
going to be fun. It's like, it's summer day. Got some tunes going. We'll get a cooler out there. We'll be building a deck. We'll be, it'd be fun. And it's 98 degrees. It's humid. No. And then the next day it's raining, so you can't work. And, and I don't like working with any of this. I don't like working with any of this composite material. Any of it. All these PVC boards that they use now. I don't like cutting any of that stuff. Even if you have a nice, dust system set up or something, I still just don't like it. And it gums up all your tools, sticks to all your tools. The PVC stuff has that static charge to it that just sticks to everything. Yeah. So no, thank you. I'll pass on the decks. I'll pass.
What if they wanted to do like an Ipe or a teak deck, would you take it?
Well, if it was ePay, we could talk about it, but we could talk.
All right.
That'd be pretty cool. But you need different blades for that too. That stuff's so friggin' dense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least you're
Yeah.
cutting something
You'd
that's
be
actually real instead of friggin', PVC
right.
crap.
Right. And yeah, will last longer than you.
Yeah. Exactly. What are you drinking?
I'm on a no alcohol diet for the next couple weeks, so I'm doing.
Okay.
It's a pineapple mango hops kombucha.
Okay. Why the no alcohol diet?
Because I'm doing that big hike coming up in.
Right.
Well, I leave in a week.
Grand Canyon.
Yeah, the Grand Canyon rim to rim hike. So I'm trying to no coffee, no alcohol, exercising.
All right.
Just not really hard. Not really hard though, man. You really do lose strength after 40. Like, whew. Lifting weights when I would be able to lift this weight without even batting an eye when I was even my 30s. Now, I'm like, holy cow, this is heavy.
Yeah. Gotta work a little
Yeah,
harder.
once you yeah, and it's harder to maintain, it's harder to gain, it's just harder. You really do truly lose to at least 1% of your muscle on a yearly basis every year, annually, after you turn 40. At
Is that
least
true?
in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, so
Good thing
it's
I'm
more
all
than
jacked.
important
I
than
got a lot of time.
ever. Yeah. Yep.
Won't catch up to me till about 70.
Yeah, it's more important than ever to be active when you're in your 40s, and I am not as active as I should be, and am not in a position. I don't feel like I'm totally ready for this hike, but it's coming anyway, so it's in a week. So
Okay.
I thought, you know what? If anything were to happen, I don't want to think that it was because I didn't give it my best shot, So, yeah, 41-year-old actually passed away on that hike a couple days ago. So I'm
Like
gonna take it
heat
pretty serious.
exhaustion or accident or what?
The article I read said they didn't know. They're still
Okay.
investigating it.
Okay.
But I imagine it's heat. It's in the 3 digits down at the bottom there. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
All right. Well, enjoy. Yeah. Have fun. Have fun with that.
yeah. Enjoy torturing yourself.
Yeah.
Sure.
You're signing up for this. Have fun.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. What are you drinking over there?
I got my Maker's 46. Maker
All
46 on ice. That's it. Kept it simple.
There you go. That a boy.
Keeping it simple.
I gotta live through you right at the moment.
So
You gotta have a double tonight for me.
I'm on vacation, so yeah. I'm not in Arizona.
That's right.
But I'm on vacation. I'm on vacation in my basement. So yeah.
Is that a window behind you, or is that a drawing of an awesome tree behind you?
No, that's my tree.
That's a pretty cool tree.
That's my little patio.
That's a pretty cool tree out there.
Yeah, it's a nice. I got some ivy on the walls. I got a whole sunken in foundation that wraps around. So
yeah, that's nice.
Yeah, it's kind of a little nestled in kind of my own little niche over there. Yeah, enough for a couple of seats.
I really like what you did with the sawhorses. They really fit the space very nicely there.
I thought that added a nice element. It was missing something, so yeah. Sawhorses seem to fill that void.
So you
pretty
thought
easily.
sawhorses.
Yeah, I know what I got.
You are a carpenter, huh?
Tools.
Mm-hmm.
I'll throw some tools over there to fill it up. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was actually building this nickel gap cedar wall. I did a little bench and stuff. It was just bare wall, so I just put a nice little trimmed it out with some cedar to make it kind of nice. It made sense because it's on the first floor and everything down here is having the ivy and everything coming over the walls and having that tree and just trees behind that. I was trying to keep everything pretty just natural looking, Yeah. I like it. I just got to add some lighting. That's next
Yeah,
step.
I like
Got a
it.
little sconce I'm going to put on that cedar wall. Just a tiny little thing that Jeff, who used to work for me, short. It was like a $240 light fixture that a designer bought. And he shorted it out. We were like almost done. It was like the last day on this job. And instead of getting a light bulb and putting in to make sure that the light worked, he stuck his tester inside the inside the socket and just fried it. Completely shorted it out.
Oh,
Yeah, it's like a $240 fixture. So I brought the thing home. It was like a couple of years ago. And I was like, well, I'm not going to throw it out. It's $240. I'll rewire it at some point. So I finally rewired the thing last week and was like, I'm going to put it right there. Just a tiny little goofy, like handmade glass panel and a little gold sconce. So it should look nice. It's coming along.
okay. Good, good. Okay. You like kitchens, I like bathrooms, and we both don't like additions. Is there anything else that you won't take? And decks. You're not a big fan of decks.
And decks. I will not take a deck. And the only
Yeah.
time I would take a deck is if
Yeah,
it was
I
part
remember.
of a bigger project. Like it would have to be part of something
Yeah,
else,
sure.
you know?
I feel the same way with decks. I remember you and I had that conversation almost every year. All right, we're gonna
Yeah.
take decks this year, and then inevitably one pops up, and we're like,
Yeah. And you know what's
sure,
funny?
it sounds like a great idea, and then we do it, and we never make any money on decks because
Right.
why is deck so expensive? It's hard
Yeah.
to sell.
Yeah. You know, it's
There's a
funny.
lot
Both
going
of the guys
on.
that work for me asked me separately, actually. I said, do we ever do decks? Do we ever build decks? And both of them had the same answer. He said, why do you ask that? And they both said the same thing. They both just like, I don't know, it just seems like it'd be just fun to build a deck. And I was like, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not fun to build a deck.
we all thought that.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not fun. It's not fun. So I told him, I said, nope. I
Yeah,
said,
and
you will
we
not build a
tried.
deck in this company.
We tried to make it. We tried to make it fun though, Todd. We
Yeah.
would bring our tent. I would set
Yeah.
up a tent. I brought the cooler. We had
And a radio
I
blast.
even brought popsicles.
Some
Remember I
championship.
brought popsicles that one time? Yeah,
We were set
we
up.
tried.
It was as fun as it was going to get without getting strippers. It was as fun as it was going to get, you know?
It was as fun as it was gonna get. Yeah. That is true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I don't know.
um,
Still
yeah,
never got profitable with decks.
other than those, I don't know if there's anything else that I necessarily wouldn't take, except for like the, like the one-off stuff where I just like, if someone calls me to replace a window, I'm like, no, I'm just, no.
Yeah, I won't. I would never. I never did, and I still won't take any of the handyman stuff. I know you did for a while there, but all the
Yeah.
little stuff, yeah, I won't take.
No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you.
It's just not enough there. Yeah,
There's not.
I don't know.
There's really not.
There's nothing wrong with that, and there's a lot of people that make a lot of money on the handyman side of things. I understand that direction,
Sure.
but
I think
no.
that's kind of like I've always kind of done that as kind of like filler work. If I was in between
Yeah.
remodeling projects, or if I had a few days, I could just kind of, fill a gap and make a few bucks. But I think you need to, if you're going to do that, I think you need to do that like full throttle and just be a handyman company, because you're not going to have projects that are going to get dragged out, and you're not going to, the way I've tried to balance that, it ends up biting you in the ass sometimes, because you're running a remodeling project and then someone calls and says, can you just, replace this interior door and a lock or whatever it might be, right? And it's like, yeah, I could do that, So you give them a price on it, and then of course after that it's like, well, when can you do this? So they want to be on your schedule. And now you've got this kitchen remodel you're doing and this basement remodel that you're doing, and now you have the people up your rear end about, when are you going to get my door and lock set installed? It's been 3 weeks. And it's like, if you need it done sooner, call someone else. Or because what ends up happening if you do take those, you go to do that, and then something goes wrong, and then you have to go back for a return trip for that. And then it just cripples the schedule that you had for doing your other projects that were clearly a little more important. So, it's just like, if you're geared for that and really set up to just do handyman stuff, do your handyman stuff, and that's it. Otherwise, do your remodels. And when you don't have any remodeling work, take that time to, work on your business, right? Like work on the infrastructure, work on your marketing, work on your sales, whatever it might be, or just take the time and go do something more fun. Build a deck. But
Yep.
that's what I've come to realize at the tender age of 45, which, when I was 35 and doing this, I did not look at it that way. But 45 is, it's
Yeah.
need a little more balance. Yeah.
You're getting smarter. Getting smarter.
Yeah. I like to think so in some regards. In some regards, I'm getting smarter. I think that's one of them. That's definitely one of them. So, yeah, I just got to get over the stupidity of taking the city projects. As soon as I'm over that hump.
Well, here we go. Okay. So you pointed out which projects you like and which ones you don't like. So what about location? I mean, you're in the Chicagoland area.
Yeah. And I mean, now where I'm at, a good no traffic day, I'm, 35 minutes, 45 minutes northwest of the city.
So if you were to draw a circle around where you would take projects, how many miles away? What's the diameter? What's the radius?
I would guess, I mean, it's probably not a very consistent circle. It's probably more of like an egg shape, but I would say probably,
Well, like
I don't know.
Lake Michigan probably forces the egg shape.
Right. Right. So with
You're gonna
where
take
I'm
a
at,
project in the middle of
I would go all the way
in
to
the
the lake
middle of
because
the lake.
that's North Shore. I mean, I'm literally 2 blocks from Lake Cook Road. So if I was to take Lake Cook Road straight east and hit the lake, you're talking Lake Forest, Glencoe, that area, Highland Park. Sure, I would take projects over there for sure. Those are nice higher end projects, and that's not a bad commute going straight east.
But give me
But
give me miles so I can put it in perspective.
mile wise, I would say I would
You're
guess.
gonna travel 25 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles? How far
No,
away?
I guess I would probably be 20 to 25 at most. I'd say 25 at most.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I don't even
Well,
miss a
yeah, in
30.
Chicago, that 25 miles could take you 2 hours.
That's the problem. That's the problem. If you are going to Chicago, I can get to the city in 15 minutes, 20 minutes. But for me to get from the edge of the city to downtown, it takes over an hour. Over an hour.
Right.
Especially now. It is awful. Awful how bad
Yeah,
traffic is.
if you only listened to a very smart individual and told you never to work in the city limits, you'd be a much happier man.
I know.
You
But
might even have some of your hair left.
I'm going to start regrowing here. Who knew the whole time it was just city projects,
Right, right.
And I arrived at that conclusion before, I did stop taking city projects for a while, and I just get roped back in. I got roped back in on 2 of them
You
because it
do.
was a high-end designer and an architect that I liked. So I was just like, all right, this is going to be a cool project. I really want to do this project. And then as soon as we started, I was just like, what the fuck am I doing? Why did I do this? Why the hell did I do this? The other one I will say, because I have 3 projects in the city right now, the other one I will say actually is not bad, only because the majority of that is subcontracted. Painting subbed out, carpet replacement subbed out, tile work subbed out. The only thing my guys are doing is hardware replacements on doors. That's it. So something like that, I'll take something like that because it's a large project. So you can make a few bucks on it, and I don't have to be there all the time. That I'll take, but I can run a lot of that remotely.
So, are you still going to continue to take projects in the city?
No, I'm done. I promised everybody that I was done.
Yeah.
My employees, subs, nobody wants to be down there. Nobody wants to be down there. A plumber tried to go down there the other day, and he said, we want to get this done in one day. We're trimming out a kitchen and a powder room. And he said, I'm going to have 2 of us go down there, just spend a long day, and hopefully we're just done in the day. I said, yeah, that makes sense. I get it. It's what most people are trying to do. And but it took him 2 hours to drive down there. And then when he got down there, it took him 40 minutes to find parking because it was a street cleaning day. So you couldn't park on one side of the street on all of these consecutive street blocks, right? So
Yeah.
all the parking lots were full. All the pay to park lots are full. One of them was under construction that was 2 blocks away, so he couldn't park in that one because it was under construction. The Kennedy's under construction. So it took him that long just to find parking. And then when he found parking, I don't know what happened exactly, but he ended up getting a parking ticket also, $70 parking ticket. So now you've spent 3 hours just to park, another 2 hours to drive back home, 5 hours of drive time, and you got slapped with a fine to be down there. And of course, did not finish because it took that long just to get set up, you know? So I'm making another trip
Yeah.
down. Yeah. So
I
I
think
told him, I said,
one time you were. Yeah, I agree, and I think you know everything about that. One time you were down there, your truck got towed, didn't it?
yeah, I got towed 5 minutes. I mean, talk about a no grace period. No parking
Yeah.
after 3 p.m. 3:05 towed. Towed. Gone. 3:05. Had to walk all the way to the impound lot. That was fun. 45-minute walks to the impound lot. Pay however much money. Awful. Awful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we won't work. We're in the Seattle land area, and we won't work in Seattle either.
No?
We're not going to go down there. Nope.
How,
And Seattle
how far?
is so much easier to work in than Chicago.
As
So
far
much
as,
easier, and we still won't go. Yeah. Well, Seattle's just so much smaller, so it's just easier to get in and out of. I mean, yes, we have a ton of traffic like Chicago. We just, we just don't have as many lanes. We have a lot of people. It's not like we can just add another lane to the high freeway like they do in Chicago. So it's cramped. So we have a lot of traffic. Traffic's brutal. So it's just not worth it. It's just not worth it.
how
I
far
don't,
outside of Seattle are
there's
you? Or like is your company, if you have a
my,
office? Do you guys
yeah,
have a
my
office?
company. So I would say my office is a good 45 minutes, if not longer, out of Seattle. And that's without any traffic,
Okay.
right
That
on the
makes sense.
expressway. Yeah, but
Yeah.
we're
That
not
makes
going
sense.
into the city limits.
Yeah. Yeah. No. That's it. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And no one wants to, I mean, no one wants to do it anymore. And I've talked to some other people who are
No.
just, who said they struggle to find guys, struggle to
Yeah,
find
I
subs that are
think
willing to go to the city.
there are companies that specifically work in the city and that's all that they do. And I think that's what's important. I think if you're living in the city, if I was a city dweller, I would just look for a company that specifically works in the city and that's it. Because that's what they want to do. That's what they do. That's what they know how to do. They probably live in the city as well. So it works out for them. And I know companies here who are right out of Seattle and they want to work in Seattle. Good for them. And that's probably who we would refer phone calls to.
Yeah.
Because let's stay out of that lane.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. Speaking of staying out of lanes, like we get phone calls for like full house builds, like new builds, and we're a remodeling company. We're not a builder. And this is where I think it gets a little confusing because there's many remodeling companies out there that would jump at the idea of building a house. And I think that's where they go wrong. It's a
Yeah.
different animal.
It is.
And I don't, you can't, you can, but I don't think my remodeling network of trade partners is not going to be the same as if I was going to build a house. And that margin is a lot smaller if I'm building a house as opposed to remodeling a house. Like the margins are just smaller in general. So you don't have the luxury of a larger margin to make mistakes and for your learning curve, because there's going to be a lot to learn. Yes,
Right.
you can do additions. Again, not the same. Yeah, okay. So I'm doing an addition, I'm bumping out your kitchen. That's very different than starting from scratch and house build up from scratch.
Sure is.
Now, yes, all the same components, and I'm not saying that we can't figure it out and that we haven't done it. I'm just saying that we remodelers wouldn't be efficient at it. If you build one house every few years, you're not going to be efficient at it. So stay in your lane. Do what you do well. Become good at it. And, I don't know. Become a master at your craft.
Yeah.
In your lane.
I think you just stumbled upon just a whole episode right there. You just call it "Stay in Your Lane." And I think I think there's a lot to be said for that. Even inside of the remodeling industry, there's a lot to be said for that. And he said it's even trade by trade.
Yeah, you mean every painter who decided that they're going to be a full-blown remodeler? I mean, how many of those have you seen?
Exactly. How many of those trucks do you see? Yeah, so and so painting and complete remodeling.
Painting
Right.
and painting kitchens and bathrums.
Right.
Remodels.
Yeah. And they painted the and complete remodeling on there, afterwards, right? So it's like they had their nice truck, all nice graphics on their truck, and then just and complete remodeling also. And then, how do you jump from painting to now all of a sudden we're electricians and HVAC guys and can manage a remodeling project start to finish and are familiar with codes and processes and all this stuff? Like, that's quite a leap from painting.
Well, I can tell you exactly what happened.
Someone offered.
They met
a carpenter on a job.
He got or she got called from a GC to come paint their kitchen remodel, and they show up and they paint and they do it again and again and again, and they go, holy cow, look at all this work I'm missing out. It's FOMO. Fear of missing out.
Right.
And so they think, well, the GCs must be making all the money. I can do this. And what happens is homeowner calls to have their kitchen painted or their living room painted. So the painter comes and paints them, and they go, hey, while you're here, do you know anybody that could remodel my little powder room bathroom? And the fear of not missing out on money, they go, oh, well, we can do it. And then we just figure it out and watch YouTube videos and become, and they do that over and over and over again. And then.
Right. And they have a cousin that worked for a plumbing company for 4 months, and he can come in and do all the plumbing work, and, that kind of thing. So I mean, you're right. It is. It's probably how it happens. There's certainly something for that. I got myself.
Yeah, and I'm not saying they're all bad either. Like, we all had to start somewhere. So sure, but it's just funny.
And the intention might be good.
How many of those?
Then it's always you don't know what you don't know, right? There's the intention might have been good. They may have tried to do a really nice job, but they just don't know. They're not. That's not what they do. I got myself in trouble not too long ago because I was an idiot. I didn't stay in my own lane doing it was just a small basement, and we were doing. They had a sauna already down there, but the sauna wasn't finished out, so we were just trimming out the sauna, replacing interior doors in the basement, casing, baseboard, wrapping a couple support columns and I-beams. And then he asked me. He said, we were going to do carpet tile down here, just in like the gym section. He's like, you guys do carpet tile, and I was like, yeah, we can do carpet tile. And I'm thinking like. It's fucking carpet tile. How hard can it be? Bad idea. Yep. Like everything else. If you haven't done it and you're not familiar with what to look for before you start, did you open up all the boxes and look at the dye patterns to make sure they're the same? Nope, we didn't. So you know what happened? The last 3 boxes ended up being a little bit darker than the previous 12 or 13 boxes, whatever it was, right?
Oh.
So we didn't mix them all up. So the last few square feet, all dark. So he's like, you kind of
Oh,
spread these out, and I was like, I just got to own it, you know. And it's like we didn't
yes, we
check them.
could have. Yes, we
Yeah,
should have.
we should have. I said we didn't check all the boxes. We just opened them up and went. And it's my fault. I know better because you get that even with like a natural, like a marble tile or something like that. You should open them all up, spread them all out, lay them all out. Carpet tiles, I didn't think to do it. I just figured open them up, start laying them. That was the first problem. And then the second problem was some of them just at like the corners, only a few, like 3 or 4, but the corners were just peeled up just a little bit, you know. So then you're going back through and taking it up and cleaning it and putting that back down. But not that it's a big deal, but nonetheless, it's a callback. So now you're going and making time for that and spending a couple hours that you can't charge for, right? To your point, stay in your lane. What was the better answer? Nope, we don't do carpet tiles. Do you know what I mean that does? No, I don't.
And if you happen to have a flooring guy, you can ask them and, sub it out. But
Yeah.
if you don't, then you don't, and just own it. No, be honest, I am not a carpet guy. I don't know enough about it. I don't want to know enough about it. If I don't have a guy to refer you, I'll do my best. I'll ask around for you. Let's see if I can help you in any way, but I'm not taking that responsibility to screw it up for you.
Right. And I told him that
Nope.
after. I mean, he's a good, very good client. So I told him, I was just brutally honest. And I just said, it's my fault. I said, honestly, I should not have taken that aspect of the project. I just figured we were doing everything else, and it's a pretty straightforward installation. But as I was wrong, so whatever we have to do to correct it, we will. So he ended up ordering a
How
couple
did he
more
take
boxes.
it?
He was very polite about it. And he said, he's like, no, I appreciate you trying to just do that while you're doing everything else. I get it. He's like, you guys didn't do a bad job on the installation. You just didn't check all the boxes, literally and figuratively. Did not check all the boxes.
Yep.
So, yeah. So I had like I said, he was already an existing client, so he was fine with it. But nonetheless, like I said, it looks unprofessional. Looks unprofessional. So, yeah. To your point, stay in your lane. Stay in your lane.
There you go. Well, was there anything else you wanted to hit on before we close out this session of what you like and don't like?
No, we'll leave the Todd potentially getting sued until like next one.
Okay.
We'll leave that to the next one. I'm not sure how that's going to end yet, but there's some good stories on that one.
All right.
Good.
Okay. Well, yeah. Cheers, man.
Cheers.
Till next time.
All right.
Cheers.